Mr. Hahn, thank you very much for being on our program today.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Here we are in the beautiful Sunday, beautiful park here in the city of Whittier.
Central Park.
Central Park is really a beautiful park, and just enjoying all the families here sitting around enjoying it.
And the peace and quiet.
Always peace and quiet. We're doing this show because, first of all, I wanted to acknowledge you and thank you and talk about that in today's show. Is the idea that I hear you've hit some major landmarks on your podcasting, webcasting, doing your shows. You're in the hundreds of thousands and you're climbing faster than I can think of. So tell us about that. What's all that process going on? I mean, tell us about, how long have you been doing what you're doing and how did you hit these landmarks?
Well, podcasting and multimedia broadcasting is fairly new. It's 5 years.
Oh.
And now I say 5 years because 5 years ago I sort of started officially S3 Productions as a business. Now, prior to that, we were doing web streaming and podcasting. We were just doing, which was a lot of fun. But the actual S3 Productions is 5 years old. Matter of fact, within the next month or two. I can't tell you the date. I don't have the dates in front of me.
Okay.
So in 5 years, I think I'm pretty close to 21,000 listens, podcast, of which 12,000 are, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but of which 12,000 are unique. Which means they've heard at least once. The other remainders have heard at least.
They're your groupies.
Yeah, there you go. I have actually 2 channels. The second one's nowhere near that, but it's growing. It's actually growing faster than the first one is. I have a YouTube channel where I've been posting videos 3 years, something like that. And I'm pretty close to 29,000 hits or views with 900 videos.
900 videos?
904, I think.
Wow.
Podcasting, I've got 631, I think, shows. But there's 900 some odd videos.
And I also understand that you also record where the viewers are worldwide. So
yes.
You've been in how many countries?
168.
168
but
countries.
that's 168 because YouTube will tell you which country. You can also get it from Blog Talk Radio, and then I compare that against Facebook. So they may not all be. I have a spreadsheet that I have to track of.
How does that make you feel?
Pretty cool. I am, I'd say, the epitome of armchair travel.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Because what are my chances of seeing 168 countries? Probably not going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
But to know that somebody heard, it might have been 30 seconds, and said that sucks, but at least somebody heard it, or responded, or said, or hit, or something. And I have a world map that I color in. And it's just neat to watch that happen. I don't know if I can describe it. But just to watch that happen.
Now, we've talked about your media presentation, your production, and all that. And then somehow in the middle of all this, on top of that, I don't know where you do it or how you sleep, you also have a program where you as a veteran have some of your flags going to different parts of the world, being raised or being put out there, and then pictures taken, certificates, and then being sent back to you. Tell us about that phase of a project you do.
In the Navy, and this is not concrete, but I'm going to use the word traditional for a lack of a better word.
Okay.
That when you retire, you get a U.S. flag. Mm-hmm. And that flag generally has flown at whatever station you've been at, or ship you've been on, or base And some people take this, to all their past duty stations, all their past. Yeah. And I very quickly learned, because I retired in 2001, I very quickly learned in 2000 when I started, if the flag's there, it can't be there.
Right.
Because it's
in one place.
okay, so you get 2 flags.
Ah.
Well, if they're there and there, they can't be. And one of the beauties of the Navy is you know people from literally all over the world because you serve with these guys or ladies. So you mail the flag off, and I had a friend of mine who was in Asugi, Japan, before he went to Bahrain. So I sent the flag to him in Asugi, Japan, and he had it flown at Mount Suribachi there on Iwo Jima.
Oh, wow.
Then he took the flag with him to Bahrain and had it flown at Commander Naval 5th Fleet, Bahrain.
Wow.
I didn't have to send it to Bahrain.
He just took it
Took
there.
it with him. I have a flag right now, courtesy of the Marine recruiter in Montebello, that's in Washington, D.C., someplace.
Uh-huh.
He says he knows where it is, but he won't tell me. But he says somebody actually has the flag. And so what I did was I started this as, I guess it became a compulsion, hobby, challenge, whatever word you wish to use, of where can I have this flag flown. Now, I'm going to backtrack just a minute. I have 3 sons who've all made Eagle Scout, the Boy Scouts. And it's common that when you make Eagle Scout that you get a flag or a flag certificate all over the place saying, congratulations, you made Eagle Scout. Well, if you're going to fly a flag for Ernie the Eagle Scout, you might as well fly a flag for me. The forms are all the same. They just type in a new name.
But but from what I'm aware of your project is, we want to sort of look at this, and it doesn't just go to military bases. You've sent it to state capitals, to famous locations. I think you recently was up in back east somewhere, and you went to the house of
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Yeah. Well, my son lives in Groton, Connecticut, and I had been told that when my hair grows out, I look like Mark Twain. Well, come to find out, the Mark Twain house is in Hartford, Connecticut.
Right.
And you have to fly into Hartford to get to Groton. Well, we were in Hartford to go to and from, but we didn't stop in Hartford. And so I thought, well, why not?
Sure.
And that same, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but well, let's talk about the Mark Twain story.
All right.
So
I'm talking to Mark Twain, sure, of course.
So when I got back into, when it was all said and done, I actually called the Mark Twain house on the phone. I said, how do I make this happen? And they all looked at me like, huh? Thank you, Mark Twain house. Thank you, Mark Twain. Kimberly, you're the greatest.
Got it done.
Got it done. And so I called Kimberly, whose last name escapes me right now. Kimberly, you're the greatest. Thank you. And I said, what do you want? I said, we don't have a flagpole. I said, okay. Can you
stand in front of the building
and go? And what kind of certificate? I said, I don't put on a postcard, just something that says, been there, done that on this date. Well, we've never done that before. I said, okay. When you want it done? I said, whenever you get it done. And they came through and they did it, and they sent me a postcard. And there's a picture of a young lady and this guy holding the flag up.
Cool.
And then I had a friend of ours just recently, in the last couple of months, who went to Hartford to the Harriet Beecher Stowe house, which is across the street from the Mark Twain house. And I said, while you're there, you might as well walk across the street to the Mark Twain house and go see Kimberly and tell her thanks for flying my flag.
Oh, that's cool.
And they wrote back and says, you're nuts.
It was just an ideal that we were on.
Yeah. Well, again, my son lives in Groton, Connecticut. Well, the USS Nautilus, which is the first atomic-powered submarine, happens to be in Groton, Connecticut at the sub-base. Well, my son used to be base housing above the sub-base, and the Nautilus is like 5 minutes away. So Christmas Eve of 2016, my son and 2 grandsons, we got a tour of the Nautilus, and I happened to see the chief there in the duty section. I said, hey, can you just run this thing out on the... He goes, it's raining out there. I says, okay. What if the flag gets wet? It gets wet. Take it back and we'll hang it up and let it dry. So he says, I got you. He says, let me get one of my guys off the duty section. He'll run out there more. He's going to be excited? Yeah, he'll be very excited. So we ran out there. By the time I got the camera around, he'd already run out there, run the flag up, and ran it back to me. And then, so I wrote them a letter, and make a long story short, they typed me up a certificate for put that date on it, and then sent me a certificate saying. And then, of course, when I was visiting my son, at night and in the morning, you could hear the bass play the military flag and national anthem taps and all the flag calls, because it's
a base.
Base. Brought back all these. So I called the public affairs officer there, and I says, how do I get a flag flown at the sub-base? He goes, no problem, send me the flag. Now, jumping ahead to a future project, we were in New Mexico at the New Mexico Pinion Coffee Company.
That sounded like you slipped in a commercial on me there. That's cool.
That's okay. Well, the point is, we were there, and there was a picture on the wall of the USS New Mexico at the North Pole. And a picture of the crew holding this banner up at the North Pole.
Yeah. Or even South Pole.
No, that's another story. That's another story.
Yeah.
But anyway, and in the middle of this banner, in the snow at the North Pole, was a bag of New Mexico Pinion coffee. Because I guess it made some...
Oh, wait a minute. I know where you're going with this. You also do coffee shows.
But the point is, any idea where the USS New Mexico was home ported?
No?
Groton, Connecticut. So I'm thinking,
So now it's going to go back.
So now I'm thinking, drives my wife absolutely crazy. But now I will admit, there's not just a flag.
Right.
There's 6.
Okay, so of all your 6 flags, and I know I'm catching you here to guess, how many places would you say all your 6 flags have been to? Take a shot at it.
Well, at least one binder that thick, and then loosely probably another pile about
Couple hundred?
probably a couple hundred.
Couple hundred. How long you're planning to do this?
So I can't do it no more.
Post office go out of business maybe. Huh?
Well, the one I sent my brother lives in Colorado Springs. And so we were up there in July to see him. And so, speaking to the post office, my brother and I went to 3 different Air Force bases and the Army base in and around Colorado Springs to take pictures of me holding the flag in front of the sign saying whatever Air Force base, or in front of an airplane at a museum, or just because. I didn't get any certificates, I just got the pictures.
Same difference.
Same. But the Air Force Academy, I had called the public affairs office there at the Air Force Academy, how do I get my flag flown? And the answer came back, well, we don't know. I'm thinking the Air Force Academy has never had anybody ever want to do this. Well, I finally get a response back while we were in Colorado Springs to get a hold of Richard Dole, I think his name is. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Please forgive me.
I don't know this guy.
Well, I don't have my stuff in front of me. Anyway, it's a cadet honor program, and to make a long story short, so I sent this cadet my flag. I also sent one of the Nevada and the Denver State Capitol building. And it's really interesting because the one went from Whittier to the Air Force Academy, the other one went from Whittier to Denver via Virginia. So sometimes my flags go on whole strange adventures all by themselves. But the bigger question is, sometimes, and I'm facing this problem now, the original flag only goes where I go because it's number 1. and I'm not going to take a chance on losing. There's too much history behind it. Flag 2 is in my classroom. It's been to Iraq, Kuwait, and Afghanistan. It's not going anywhere. When Flag 3 comes back from Colorado, I'm going to retire it because it's on the, this is your fault, because you're on the edge there. All the place it's been has all been written in a Sharpie pen, and I can't fit any more in there. So I'm going to retire that flag because there's too much.
Over coffee.
Yeah.
And there's a coffee ceremony.
We'll
I have a coffee. That's a whole
But
different
the
show.
point is, I don't want to take a chance on losing those flags. There's too much history behind it.
It sounds.
You can't replace that.
It sounds like a project that, hopefully our viewers will see this and say, hey, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And you can walk your flag in front of buildings. It could be
Well,
your local library for all it is. It's just
Yeah.
to start the ball rolling.
Well, I'll give you an example. I've been turned down twice. For a variety of reasons, but the biggest, I can't tell you why. We were in Window Rock, Arizona.
Is this a place where it did not go up?
Well, it did not go up
Oh,
there.
well, let's keep it general.
No, this is very general. Okay, my point is, no, it's not a bad thing. But Window Rock, Arizona is the capital of the Navajo Indian Nation.
Yes.
And we've done shows about the Navajo Code Talkers and other things. And so I have a picture of me holding the flag in front of the Capitol building of the Navajo Nation. And so I walked into the building there and I says, who do I talk to about getting my flag flown? So they gave me a business card. So I wrote to the person there and I said, email him. I says, can I just, get a picture of the flag and some piece of paper saying, and they wrote very, very, very nice letter. Says, we don't do that. I said, okay. No.
No, I mean,
No problem.
for a variety of reasons, people can do that, and they just
That's not a
decide
problem.
not to do it. Yeah.
I won't tell you the more interesting story about San Diego, but that's
No.
point is-
Uh-huh.
no problem. I have a picture of me holding the flag in front of the Navajo Nation capital. Just because the flag had been already to the state capital in Santa Fe prior to us going to Santa Fe. So the idea was to take the same flag, and I was going to take the picture, and my wife was going to hold the flag in front of the state capitol building. And for a variety of reasons, that picture didn't happen.
That happens.
Which is
Technical
still all
problem.
part of the
Yeah, that's part of the
part of the
technical
story.
issue.
Sometimes do, and yeah, but you're right. You can go almost. The flags had been in Connecticut, had been to the state capitol in Connecticut at Hartford. It had also been to the Coast Guard Academy, because again, they're all within
In that area.
rock throwing area of where my
Right,
son lives,
right.
and I mean, it's just a cool thing to do.
It's a great hobby. I'll say that much for you.
Yeah.
It's a great hobby.
Well, I was on the USS Chicago, CG-11, back when I was on active duty in the Navy. That ship is now decommissioned and gone, but the USS Chicago now is a nuclear-powered submarine home port out of Guam. Now, when I worked at Rockwell in the late 80s, early 90s, one of the bigwigs down there had a big picture of the submarine up on his wall. And I sat there looking at it, and he goes, what are you doing in my office? Well, I was on the Chicago. Not that one, but the one before. Well, you don't know. He got all huff and fluffy about it because he'd been on the sub, and there was no Chicago before that. I said, no, that's another story. So I got onto Facebook. And this is the beauty of what we do. Anybody know how to get a hold of the USS Chicago down in Guam? Within 10 minutes, I had the guy's email address and literally everything I needed to know. I had an offer from a lady to have my flag flown in the Pentagon. I had another lady said, send me your flag, I'll fly it over Mount Suribachi in Japan.
Wow.
I didn't have the hard time, I'd already been there, but that's neither here nor...
Yeah, send the flag again.
I might just do that.
Yeah, send it again.
I might just do that again. I'm a big believer in armchair travel. Matter of fact, the flag that had been to Mount Suribachi had also been to the Iwo Jima Memorial in D.C. So it's been to both. And in a weird way, it's kind of like genealogy.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
In a weird way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you're tying all these interrelated stories together.
Sure. Yeah.
We went to Santa Barbara, and no, I didn't. I was going to do it there, but I didn't. The Maritime Museum in Santa Barbara happens to be the old Navy Reserve building. I didn't have it flown there, but I did have it flown at the Maritime Museum in L.A.
Oh yeah, San Pedro.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I actually went up on the mast and had it flown. I got to climb the fire truck ladder. It was all kind of cool. It's not limited to a veteran thing.
That's a good point.
It's not limited to.
It's open to anyone who wants to do it, wants to take a flag and just move it around, post it in different places.
If you're going to do that, then my suggestion is contact the people you're going to do it first and make sure it's kosher. And all you got to do is ask. The hardest part is ask. And some places you just fill a form out and you mail it off and it comes back. Other places the Denver State Capitol, they have a deal where you buy the flag, they run the flag up, bring it down. But they've never really had somebody actually want them to mail their flag. But once I explained it to them, they said, no problem. Send it to me and I'll make that happen.
That's cool. Now, for our viewers, first of all, how do people want to have more details, more information, follow your flags as they're going around in all your shows and all that? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, first thing I would do, I'd go to facebook.com/S3Productions1. DC Hahn, or Curt Hahn, I think it is. That's my actual Facebook page.
Okay.
S3 Productions 1 on Facebook. I'm getting ready to start, and I haven't quite worked out the logistics yet. There's only one other one that I know of on Facebook. There was two. A flag flying Facebook page.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And
then you
then
backtrack and put everything you've done so far. Oh, that's cool.
But I know there's only one more that I know of, and it's by a guy named James Douliard, who's in Texas, I think.
Wonderful.
Who does that also. There was another gentleman who sort of dropped off, Captain Fulbright of the Army, who's now sort of dropped off the world.
Well,
but that's neither here nor there. I just haven't quite worked the logistics out for how to.
Well, as we're getting closer into the show here, sort of, and you made your, how to get a hold of you. Let's get it to the closing statements. What do you want to tell our viewers about what you've learned doing all of these different projects?
I am a firm believer in armchair travel. I love to travel. However, realistically, there are places that I'll never go.
Don't have time.
Don't have time, or can't afford. But doesn't mean, and with the beauty of the internet, you can still reach out and go anywhere in this world you want to go, and talk to almost anybody you want to. If you go to my Facebook page, Forgotten Music on 78 RPM Records, I have basically my little radio station. I play these old records. And just through that, I've reached 168 countries. I have 328 friends on that page, of which I may know 28. I don't know. The point is, with the world that we live in, if you can find whatever that niche is. I have a Chevy Astrovan. There's at least 4 Astrovan Facebook pages. And you ask a question, you put it up on Facebook, and you'll get an answer. It's amazing. And so if if you are willing to expand your world, my biggest fear in life, and I've seen this happen, is to be in some, I don't know what the word I want to use, convalescent home, where the highlight of the day is watching the trash truck show up. It keeps the mind going. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory, mean, nasty, or any other way, but there's a world out there that gets neglected.
Connecting to people, connecting to places.
Connecting to people, places, things. This beautiful park, they run concerts in the park on Monday nights. There's times we've come up here, whoever was doing the music, the band was irrelevant. It was the fact that we were here having dinner in the park. That was important, not who the band was. I don't know if it all makes sense, but there's a world out there that is to be explored. And if you can't physically get there, then my flag has been there.
That's a great encouraging words that you're telling people that, don't
or
feel
my music has been there.
that, don't feel yourself physically limited only by geography given the internet. Use your shows as an example, as a model for other people to be able to do that.
Ham radio, if you go back, matter of fact, I'm working on trying to get my ham license. Ham radio is
You
the
are a
same.
ham. I had to slip that one
I
in.
know.
I had to slip it in.
But the
I didn't
point
have a
is,
choice.
Ham radio is the same kind of an idea, where you're talking to people
Well, that was pre-internet.
pre-internet.
And people were talking to other people in the world.
Yeah.
Banging their signal off the
Yeah.
ionosphere.
There's this world out there that, and sometimes I think as society we forget that.
Well, this message that you're giving people is that you can be proactive.
Yeah.
Whether it be through your flag, through internet, through production, through podcasting, and God knows what else you're going to come up with. So.
Well, and to my long-suffering poor wife.
She puts up with you. I mean,
Who
you gotta
puts
give her credit.
Who just sometimes thinks,
Well, Mr. Hahn, I want to thank you for being
no
on the
problem.
show
I
today.
really, truly enjoyed this.
Thank you very much. Again, for our viewers, we want to get the idea that there's a world out there if you explore. If people aren't sure, but they heard something that you said and they want to learn more, get in contact with you.
The easiest way to do it is through Facebook at facebook.com/S3Productions1, Curt Hahn. S3 Productions 2, which is my music page. And just, I'm on Facebook.
Let's do it. Let's get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, get a hold of him. You won't regret it. You'll learn a lot from him. And if you need, I guess, we're making this commitment on TV, over the internet, that if someone wants details of how to do it, we'll make another show. We'll
No problem.
We'll just put
And
it together.
if you can't reach me through my email, you can always reach me through
Armando F. Sanchez, Armando F. Sanchez Production. And my email address is afsanchez66@gmail.com. And I'll shoot you over to him and his wonderful ideas. I'm always amazed at all the possibilities and all the places that your flags have been. And you've opened up even my imagination and my knowledge of what can be done. So I want to thank you for
Well,
that.
it goes back to the world traveling that you do.
Thank you.
I get to follow your progress, and the side stories that you have come up with have led to things that we've done, which have led back to which.
We're always going through this connection. We're driving ourselves nuts because we're going you're making your connection, I'm making mine, and then when you put them together, it's a huge network worldwide. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is.
beauty of it
It
all.
really is. It really is.
Armando,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Curt. And we'll see you, ladies and gentlemen. Get a hold of this guy. He's always doing something great, wonderful. Like you said,
Or
veteran
strange
or
or
not
more
veteran.
strange.
That's strange or more strange. But the idea is armchairs. You want to get out there. You want to be proactive. You want to get connected with people around the world. Talk to the man. He's been able to do that. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the next show.
No problem.
All right, take care there.
Irene, I love you.